I think the biggest mistake artists make is they're afraid to touch brands because they think branding things and promoting brands doesn't make them look cool. And Rick's the opposite. Rick looks at it and says, I can make anything look cool, and
Yeah.
I can be cool too. And that's the key.
But do you think it's just that though? Because sometimes I think you mentioned earlier, brands also have shown, I think again until you come along, they've shown there's no loyalty. Like, they endorse these artists as soon as like maybe there's a mistake or something has happened,
Drop them.
they just drop them. They're the first thing to drop them, and then they're not support. I mean, remember you said when Rick Ross had a court situation, I saw one of your interviews, you were the only one that went down to see him in prison, that went to try and see, if there was anything you needed, and you didn't see nobody there.
Now listening to the In My Opinion podcast, the home of edutainment, brought to you by Sakali, DTM, and Uzuma. So get your drinks, snacks, relax, and enjoy.
No. For me, it was where I was in life. So selling a brand or exiting a brand, and I'll use Ace of Spades as an example, was the worst single decision in my whole life. Because it's the equivalent, blood, sweat, and tears are in the brands.
Yeah.
They're like my children. It's like selling a child. But what it did was, at that point in my life, I have no money to launch any other new brand. I have all these other brands that I'd love to get out there. I don't want to raise money because I didn't want investors. So you compromise. So this was my way of cutting off something, and now I'm bigger and I'm stronger and I can do this. So that's what it was for me. So it's always one of these things, guys, where you make a decision. How am I going to get there? This was my choice. I'm going to get there this way. So I didn't do it. I had investors as an example really early on in the company, and I hated it. And I didn't want to go back to that.
What did you hate about it?
I hated it because people weren't in the business. They didn't have the long-term view I did. They didn't believe what I believed. At the end of the day, I'm not making the full decision because I need other people to say on that decision. It's a lot of reasons, you hear my success isn't based on, and I hear this stuff, I raised Series A financing, Series B, Series C, all this stuff about raising capital. I know how to do that. So that's not me. That's not me.
Like when it comes to, your first business, that you lost everything. This is also our third attempt at a podcast. We had 2 podcasts before this didn't work out. Most people will call you crazy for trying again. What made you want to go at it again, having failed?
No, just the opposite. So people ask me, so I've had 5 successful brands. I think I'm on my 5th successful brand. I would say my most successful brand is the one that is my first, and it doesn't exist today. That brand is what taught me everything. So I'm a huge believer in that you learn from your mistakes. You learn from trying stuff. You learn from doing stuff. So the fact that you guys didn't, you learned. I'm sure you did.
I did, and I'll tell you why. No, I did.
You did not or did?
No, we did. Yeah, and to add to your point, which what you're saying is brilliant, because these guys obviously remember, like when we were talking about how we started the pod, and you said when I called you, everything was already set up. That wasn't by accident. That's because I'd sat back and I looked at all our past, not failures, but ones that didn't work out. What was one of the main reasons why it didn't work out?
The barrier.
And a lot of the barriers was, okay, not having a space like that you can say, look, we record here regularly. Not having equipments, not being, be able to do the one to shoot, edit your stuff.
Sure.
So these things are things that eventually make a lot of podcasts and stuff run to the ground. So I'm like, okay, if we can manage to do everything in-house, now to your other point, if we fuck this up, it'll be on us. So I made sure, okay, can we put all those facilities and all those things in place? So now even if we're not making any money, we can continue to go
But,
and go,
but
and that's
you
what that
learn
was
from
what
something you already did.
because exactly. So
Correct.
you're
So
definitely right.
To
You're
me,
right.
every day I'm making a mistake, but I'm learning from it. So that to me is the value of not leaving what you're doing, because you think about it. Your knowledge base is the most valuable part of the exercise of any business. It's the mistakes you made, it's what you tried, it's what you did, it's how you adapt, it's how you change. So I have another saying, which is sometimes not having a plan is a great plan. Because you're not stuck to one
Stuck
thing.
to one thing, yeah.
You know, you're pivoting constantly, you're trying stuff, you're seeing what works, you're seeing what doesn't. But that's all based on my first 6 years of doing this, you know, and the rest of the cycle, you know, things I've learned. But giving up, again, I'm a huge believer in keep fighting, especially in the knowledge base you know best.
Even though you can't get a credit card now.
You know that story?
Yeah, do you know that
Yeah, it's a
story?
true story. So again, because I lost my house, because you know I had my bank account swept, I had the worst credit score, and literally I could not get a credit card. Until I invested in a guy's company who's hugely successful. It's his own credit card, hugely successful. And he's like, Brett, we'll give you one of our cards. I said, greid.
Wow, you know the owner.
Hold on. So then he's like, well, you got to fill out these forms. I'm like, oh, shit. So I fill out the forms. Sure enough, they denied me. And Anchor, the owner, this is the guy who had this wedding in Egypt. You hear about this wedding? $20 million he spent on this crazy wedding in Egypt.
Oh, he knows. No, I haven't heard it.
Most insane wedding in the world. So he's the owner. And I said, Anchor, I can't get a credit card. He said, that's nuts, Brett. I'll make sure you get a credit card. So now I have a credit
Now
card.
you have one.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, well done.
It's good,
But I
it's
still
good to
have
know
the worst
people.
credit score. I still have the worst
Still
credit
right
score.
now?
Yes.
I remember at the time he said, I can't get a credit card, but I have a Ferrari. So literally, you can't even afford to be poor.
Literally, you can't. Literally.
You got to spend your own money.
What would you say? What does your work-life balance look like? What your routine is like? Yeah.
It's well, I travel a ton. So, for example, the month of October, I'm going to be in Asia for the whole month, so I won't see my family at all.
Wow.
But when I'm home, I'm working now at home, and I get to be with my family. But that's critical to me because I have 6 kids, 5 little ones.
Wow.
And what I also see, and again, I learn from my family that I take to my business. So I see my kids as an example. I have 5 kids. They all came from us, but they're all different, just like brands.
Yeah.
Just like brands. They're all different. They all develop differently. They all are good at different things. So to me, it's a critical component of my life.
Wow.
And I know you said your brands are like your babies as well.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I think the way I would answer it is a couple ways. One, the youngest is always my favorite because it's the new one.
It's the new one. Okay.
So the Deacon. The Deacon is the new one.
Yeah,
that's the one your distributors didn't like the look of the bottle.
No,
But
I would say all the brands because they're different.
They didn't like the looks of
no, because
all
there
of
was one story you told where you said you came for a meeting and the distributors were like, I like the drink, don't like the design of. Was it not the Deacon?
Everyone has opinion of that.
Yeah.
So I would use Bel Air as example. When I launched Bel Air, we launched the black bottle first, and Bel Air.
That's my favorite.
So Brut, which is the gold bottle, is the 800-pound gorilla in the category. That's 70% of champagne sales is your Brut, your traditional, and maybe 20% is rosé, and then you've got Blanc de Blancs, which is white, which is this, and then you've got a demi sec, which is sweeter. And I said, you know what? I want to do rosé. No one is. I want to focus on rosé. Rosé is men and women. It's global. And then I put it in a black bottle, and everybody said, "Brett, don't do it. You're not launching gold Brut first. You put it in a black bottle. You can't see the liquid. You can't compete." They said it would never work, and today we're enormous in the United States and in about 100 countries.
100 countries.
But that's normal. Deacon today is, but it's neat. It's, is it easier? It is, but is it the same? It's the same pushback as someone's thinking, I'm looking at data. Data tells me this doesn't work. So there's no question. I'm doing big old categories that are slow and people don't want to be in, and I love it.
Yeah.
You know, you said you call Rick Ross your brother. Do you ever disagree with him?
Good question. I think he disagrees with me more.
And how do you handle that conflict? How do you get through it? Because
I listen.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's what makes. I think the key to I'll say this: the key to a great business person, in my mind, is do they listen? And I think Rick is a great listener. I think I'm a really good listener, and that's the key because you've got to trust your gut, but you're willing to take other people's input because maybe they're saying something. Well, you know what? Maybe that's right. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should try this. But I love Rick. I think Rick is the model. I tell everybody, if you're an artist, follow his moves, because I think the biggest mistake artists make is they're afraid to touch brands because they think branding things and promoting brands doesn't make them look cool. And Rick's the opposite. Rick looks at it and says, I can make anything look cool, and I can be cool too. And that's the key.
But do you think it's just that though? Because sometimes I think you mentioned earlier, brands also have shown, I think again, until you come along, they've shown there's no loyalty. Like, you know, they endorse these artists as soon as like maybe there's a mistake or something has happened.
Drop them.
They just drop them. They're the first one to drop them, and then they're not support. I mean, remember you said when Rick Ross had a court situation, I saw one of your interviews, you were the only one that went down to see him in prison, that went to try and see, you know, if there was anything you needed, and you didn't see nobody there. And do you think, again, that might be some of the reservations as well for some of these artists, like, you know, I'd rather just not.
I think it 100%, but I think it goes both ways.
Right.
I think, one, they got to be supportive, and it's not, the key is I don't think of anything as a transaction. I think it's a relationship. And relationships don't end, transactions do.
Yeah.
So that's key. And you're right, that Rick story is amazing because I still am blown away to this day. You know, no one showed up. No one from the label, no one. There were more lawyers there trying to ambulance chasers than anything else. But the other side is true too, and that's where Rick comes in, where I think people who end up with partnerships do the minimum. And you can't do the minimum.
Yeah.
You got to show, look what I'm doing. I'm doing more than you ever expected, and therefore this partnership should last longer and forever. And I think lots of people just want to do the minimum. They want to skate by. And I think you can't, what's the expression, mail it in. You can't. You can't mail it in.
One thing I wanted to ask, Brett, is you have a lot of brands with good names, and names are very important when building a brand. What's your thought process behind
Picking a
like,
name? That's a dope question.
No, it's a great question, and I think it goes in the same taste with the branding of the brands. I'm a huge fan of brands that have stories. They have to have a story. Brands have to be you have to be able to articulate them and memorize them. I think, for example, French brands are super difficult. You know, true French brands. You can't pronounce them. You can't remember them. Scottish brands, you know, Glen whatever. There's so many of them. It's got to have meaning. And I think, for me, we have no agency, so it's not like we're hiring an agency to tell us to come up with a brand name. It's gut. It's something, you know, when Deacon came, you know, Deacon's a brand we've had or owned that name forever because I thought it's a cool name, the Deacon. It's something different. And then when we started working on a whiskey and it became a Scotch, ends up we find out that the Deacon in Scotland means literally, if you're the best podcaster, if you're the best barber, if you're the best mixologist, you're given a title, the Deacon. So I'm like, this works, this fits. So it's all about, in some ways it's simplicity, in some ways it's branding, in some ways it's the story of the brand. It's all coming together. With Bumbu, you know, I look at the X on the bottle. The X marks the spot. It's the treasure. It reminds me of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You'll know the X when you see it. I appreciate brands like Nike or Adidas with the 3 stripes or the swoosh. I want brands to be memorable like that. The Ace of Spades, so memorable.
And with that one, a lot of people don't actually know, and that's
100%.
another great thing about Ace of Spades. Like the actual name of it is called Armand de Brignac.
Yes, Armand de Brignac.
De Brignac. But everybody, because you just look at the and everyone's like, oh, that's Ace of Spades, but that's actually not the name of
Correct. I'd say 50% of the people think it's Armand de Brignac, 50% think it's Ace of Spades.
Yeah, right.
And another 100% think there's 2 different brands.
Yeah, right. Literally, it's crazy. Yeah. And that just shows you the power of branding, isn't it?
But what I'll give you an example though, where again it's trusting your gut. Is the only time we ever had an agency, it was Ace of Spades, and we had an agency help us come up with the logo for that brand.
Right.
And I remember they shared with us 10 logos. The one that the agency hated the most is the one that I loved the most, which was the Ace of Spades.
Wow.
So again, it's
always like that, isn't it? With a lot of great things.
Trusting your gut. If it's you're on the line, what do you believe? What do you want to sell? What are you going to go for? So, anyway.
In terms of trusting your gut, I know you've always kept your ear to the streets when it comes to politics. You speak a lot about prohibition and how the impact it had on the alcohol industry. We are now in a very, very testing time in America.
Shaky times.
In terms of politics-wise. What do you think of the 2 candidates that are up for election? Trump and Harris. I mean, you don't have to say who you'd vote for, but just
what do you think of them?
I think it's great that Biden stepped away.
Yeah.
I think it's great that Kamala is or they've anointed Kamala to step up. If you just take it based on, I want a politician I don't want to hear from. And I think I would like to get back to that. I don't want them in my life. I don't want to. I think the beauty of politics is when you don't hear from them every single day.
Mystique is gone now, isn't it?
Yeah. I just think I don't want them a part of it. I don't want to hear what they have to say. You know, just go do your business. But if it's about you, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I just want to get back to. It was nice before, you know, when it. It was just keep it simple. You know, it's not about you; it's about us.
Before the celebrity president.
Yes.
You also spoke about your dad was actually in the alcohol industry, wasn't he? He was the chairman of Jim Beam.
Yes.
Which
wow,
I don't know how
Jim Beam.
Is it big in Nigeria as well?
No, but I like it in the UK.
You like it?
I mean,
in Uganda, Jim Beam was big, especially back in the day. They even made a song about it.
Really?
Called Jim. Yeah, there's a song called Jim.
Oh, wow.
So, but you say even though your dad was chairman, you learnt more from your mum than your dad.
I think
when it came to your business.
So my passion for the industry, my passion of selling, I get everything from my father. There's no question. Learning about the industry. My mom she's 94 years old now. Wow. She rollerblades every day.
Wow.
Whoa.
She swims every day. She has her own business card. She won't leave the house without wearing a hat, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a jacket of our brands. She'll go up to anybody and start talking to you about our brands. Wow. She's my hero because, and I suggest this with everybody in this room or anybody listening, find somebody who is going to be there for you when shit's bad. More importantly, when shit's bad versus when it's great.
When it's great, yeah.
And she has been my hero. She has supported me. She's taught me that being different is a good thing. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. There's no question. I love my dad, but my mom believed in me and never gave up. She'd do anything. And I just think everybody needs something like that in your life when times are bad.
Yeah, because when he got bankrupt pretty much, she was going to sell her jewelry.
I remember the day. I remember I lived in New York. I went downstairs to Broome and Worcester Streets. I was on the phone because I didn't want the team in the office to hear. And we had our investors on and lawyers on, and they wanted to wind up the company. And I remember telling her that they want to wind up the company. She's like, "Brad, I'll sell all my rings for you."
Wow.
And I said, "No, I'll figure this out." But I did. I said her to that day. I said, "Mom, I'm telling you, I don't care about the money. As long as I have enough money to live, I'm happy because I like what I'm doing. And I needed that because I think either I wasn't young then, but I think I was naive in thinking everything happens fast. Everything should be easy. Everything should be quick. But it's not about that. If it happens like that, God bless.
Yeah.
God bless. You're the luckiest person in the world. But you know what? You got to just put in the dues and work every day and keep progressing, and you'll get there.
That's what we're doing.
We're
And
trying.
so like you've been in the game for a while. What advice would you say you regret not taking, and that you regret taking, if that makes sense?
I regret not trusting my instincts early and thinking I'm better today, but I tend to think everyone's smarter than me.
Right.
Everyone's knows more than me. Everyone, no matter who. And I think that's not the case. And it took me a long time to figure that out. So I wish I would have trusted myself more. I also think it's hard to say because I think a lot of the stuff I say is just based on making mistakes. And life is like that. You got to figure things out. I didn't learn in school. I learned in real life. If that makes sense.
That's me too.
That's how I learned. I also I think that thing I wish, I'll put it differently, is that I wish there was someone like me back when I was younger saying it doesn't happen fast. Don't expect it to. Don't think it does. That's not the way it works. It's just not.
But I think it's a good thing though to like you're talking about, you never thought you was the smartest. I thought that was always a good thing though, to think that way. Even though you might, because it leaves you that room to always want to outthink that though, no? Isn't it?
But you're letting somebody else make the decisions.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I think that's the mistake.
Yeah.
You're letting somebody else. And once I want that responsibility.
I
want to be, if I'm going to let somebody else's decision, it's my money.
Yeah.
I should make that decision.
That's
I
true.
have to decide.
That's very true.
I can take it all in, but I got to decide that.
Yeah. I agree.
I also wish things like I said, don't, when I create a brand, Deacon, it's all done. It's got a name, the package, the design, the taste, it's finished. I don't know what this is yet. So I don't really have a plan. I got to let it go and let it breathe and figure this out. But in the early days, I had this long ass plan I stuck to no matter what.
Right.
Like that's learning. That's adapting. It's almost, I use an analogy like a comedian. A comedian goes up on stage in front of an audience and tells a joke. And the next day, he tells the joke a little bit different because he took the previous day's audience's reaction and adapted it. And by the 30th or 40th show, that joke has changed so many times, but it's perfected it. And that's what running anything is like. You take today and what worked, what didn't work, what can we do better next time? How do we make it improve it? That's what I'm trying to do every day.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
That's brilliant. I love that. That's well put. Wisdom.
You've got 6 children, right? And I remember you mentioned your dad never really wanted you to go in the alcohol business. And us as Africans, the way we're raised, when you have a family business, it's almost imperative that
Facts.
it must pass
follow
down into the children.
Lineage.
Will you pass down the business to your children?
It's a great question, and my answer is, I just want I'm going to give the old answer. I want them to be happy. Whatever they want to do. I don't know. My dad, I love him to death, but he was not he's not an entrepreneur. So doing something on your own is not him.
It's not him.
So he was not the dad who says, my mom was, I was the kid with lots of ideas. So my dad would be like, no, don't do it. My mom would be like, oh God, Brett, just go try it. So I want to be my mom. I want to support my kids no matter what. But it's interesting because lately my dad just passed away. But lately I've been thinking about him and the idea of why he didn't want us in the business. And I get it. He didn't say it, but I get it. I think there's something also overwhelming that if your kids don't make it in what you did for a living, do you feel like a sense of it's your fault? It's your responsibility. And I think maybe that's what my father thought. Like, I don't want to be responsible for their success or failure. And I get that as a parent. I get that. So,
Well, you've learned from that. You're not gonna make that mistake. You're just gonna let them
let whatever they want to do.
let it
Whatever
flow.
they want to do. I don't care. I'm being honest. As long as they're happy, if they have no ambition, that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know? You don't, in some ways, it's like my wife. My wife won't watch the news or watch politics. Her life is great if you don't watch that shit.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that.
100%. I try not to.
Yeah.
I only do it for the pod, but I try not to.
Wow.
No, I'm serious, man. My new thing is now flow. I told you, I was telling you yesterday, my new thing is flow. I just flow with it, man.
There's something
My new thing, flow.
it's life is easier that way.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
The less you know, the easier life
Exactly,
is.
yeah. Facts. Yeah,
Ignorance is
facts.
bliss.
Yes. Yes.
I've been.
Oh, God. What's going on? No, you go.
I was gonna say I've been stalking him, so I don't know if I should go down that route, or do you want to say
Typical
something
you.
nice? But yeah.
What was you going to go?
I've been stalking you. You said you root for the little guy,
100%.
and you said you love ideas, throw them at me.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am.
Okay. I like where this is going.
Yeah.
We are a podcast.
Uh-huh.
We are big in Africa. We're big
Yes,
in
we are.
Nigeria and Uganda predominantly.
Facts.
And I feel like we could do a partnership like Drink Champs. I don't know if you watch Drink Champs,
Yep.
Noriega. You know, he has all the bottles on the table. We could take our podcast to Nigeria, take it to Uganda, have Bele Rosé.
Especially Uganda.
Yeah, especially Uganda, because they drink a lot. Them fuckers drink a lot.
And we've been out there. I've yet to see, because they drink a lot, shout everything. I've yet to see ballet or any
I
other
haven't seen
in
it.
the
In
clubs.
Uganda?
But
Yes.
he said it's there.
Please.
No, he said it's there.
I don't know what clubs you go to.
I mean, they said where he's taking me.
I mean, no, I want to be humble, but I'm quite
Yeah.
a big deal in Uganda. So I go out to the
All right, you have to. Well, aside from today, you have to email me
I'm gonna do
all
that.
the names of the clubs.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
email you.
and I'm going to tell our importer.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
sort it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
To sort it
100%.
out.
100%.
Because
Yeah.
remember you said you don't like Johnny Walker. You want him to run away.
100%.
Exactly,
You want him
yeah.
to walk away.
Yes.
Johnny Walker's big.
I want to knock his knees out.
I want to help
Literally.
you.
We wanna help you
We
do
want to
that.
get the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I'll hold the top. He holds the
We'll
bottom.
put him in the boot.
Yeah.
Drive him out to the woods somewhere, and
He
then
said pop the boot.
pop the
put
boot.
Johnny
Yeah,
Walker
boom,
in
there
there.
you go.
I want
Facts.
us to. I'm being serious, but I'm joking at the same time. But to take over Africa, I feel like you've got a big opportunity because of the person you are, your personality. I feel like people just fall in love with you and anything that you endorse.
That's correct.
And whereas we are also have a name for ourselves out there as well, I think it'll be a good opportunity. So.
And I'll answer you this way. I am all about ideas. There's no, as I said, we don't have a grand plan. The plan is based on people's ideas, and I don't care. It's not about my idea. It's about who's got a good idea. So if it's something we can do together and it makes sense, let's do it.
And we're born in
If we
Africa.
can-
We're ready to work.
If we can tie it to,
Sorry.
I was telling you earlier about when Ross and I are going to Africa and visiting 6-7 countries and doing videos. Let's do podcasts along with it. Let's invite all the artists.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Interview them. We'll do all that.
Correct. But the beauty is it starts in conversations like this where you get to meet people and they're like, and they support your brands. We support your brand. What more can we do together? That's the goal.
Honestly. And I
Appreciate
feel
it.
like a lot of us drink alcohol. We drink the Hennessy's, we drink the Courvoisiers, but we don't drink it because we like it. But with you, I feel like people fall in love with your personality.
Yep.
So that adds to the reason why you want to support the brand. You know, it's not just because you like to drink it.
And the
So
products
I'm
are
quite-
amazing. I'm sorry.
But I could even see we just did a roundtable, but I'm adding to your idea. So we did a roundtable in Tanzania with I think Rosa Ray
Yeah, I know
and
her, yeah, she's quite
Rosa Ray, yeah.
Hamisa
Yeah, Hamisa, she's big.
and a few people. But it was a roundtable discussion. We put on for our brands with them. It's not out yet. We're editing it right now.
Okay.
But why couldn't we have you guys be the MCs of this roundtable discussion?
Yes.
So again, it's how do we bring everything together?
Together.
So I'm all in.
Sounds amazing.
I'm all in.
We've got
Amazon.
our big bosses.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bosses
they're
over
gonna
here.
make it happen.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I can also still hold the luggage if you need that as well.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, all day, every day. Look, I'm not going gym for no reason.
And me, I must say I'm not a drinker, but I love this drink.
Nah,
Trust
he doesn't
me,
drink.
I
Genuinely.
don't.
Do you know the problem you
I've been
caused?
drinking this.
But I was saying that's the beauty of why I love making brands. Is my whole goal is you.
is good.
You're the consumer. I want to get the consumer who either says, "God, I don't drink, but I love this,"
Yeah.
or "I don't drink brown spirits. I've never had anything like this," or "I don't drink rum. This is amazing." I would say if I use Bumbu, 90% of our business is they're not rum drinkers. It's all new people to the category.
I was going to ask as well. A lot of people don't know the difference between like actual proper champagne and sparkling wine. Like a lot of people.
Most people don't.
Yeah, right. Could you quickly like brief what the difference?
But I would say let's use cognac.
Cognac, yeah.
Okay, ready? Cognac's made from grapes. Did you know that?
No.
I thought
Wow.
grapes is wine.
No.
Yeah.
I know. Cognac's made from grapes.
Wow.
So again,
Wow.
it's the same thing where
Wow.
most people don't know.
Wow.
They don't know, or Scotch is only from Scotland.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Only from Scotland.
Oh.
That's
Scotch
it.
is only from
Only- you can only
way.
bring from Scotland
Makes
to be
sense.
Scotch.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So
That makes
again,
sense.
there's lots of things where, and that's where the consumer may be choosing things based on, oh, I heard that's a good brand,
Yeah.
or I think that's something, but it's, to me, this is where it always comes back to taste first, and then you can learn about the brand.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Wow.
So knowledgeable.
See, there you go.
So I feel like now you've gotten to know us a bit. You asked in the beginning who would we kick off the podcast.
That's what I want to know. Who's gonna go first?
Can you go first? Who would you kick off?
Out of the three of you?
Out of
No,
three,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna play that.
Yeah.
game.
Oh, so what?
It's more fun if you. It's more fun if you three have to decide.
More drinks.
This
You
guy.
know what? I'll kick myself off the podcast.
Why would you do that? Don't try to
No,
do
no.
this. He's trying to do this
No,
psychological
I said before we came on, we're gonna shoot music videos in Africa, and I'd be glad to have you on.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I'd be glad I can have two people. So you guys have to decide who are the two.
Wow. Even though it's my song that he's selling to you.
Wow.
Ghostwriter is coming out. Yes, the Ghostwriter is coming out.
That is mad.
I'm
You're
joking,
bringing our
I'm
business up.
joking, I'm
First of all,
joking.
That's
I'm
that's a lie. I
joking.
wrote the song. No joke.
I'm joking.
Joking.
I'm joking.
Is it a good song?
I've got a really good song.
Yeah.
A really
He's
good
very
one.
talented writer, very talented, and I'm a talented performer. So you bring those two together.
What's he do?
A rapper. No. We're not gonna do that. No, we're not gonna do that to my boy. When it comes to like rap,
I'm more branded for this. Right.
no, he's very.
Yeah,
we're
he is.
we're all talented in our
So
ways.
what would his DJ name be? Like added value? DJ added value?
DJ added value is
DJ AV.
funny.
I like
DJ
it. It's got a
AD.
ring to it.
DJ AD.
DJ VAT.
AV.
DJ VAT. Value
Why?
added tax.
Value added. You're crazy. You're like
That's
crazy.
beautiful, huh?
Beautiful.
Come on, no, but neither of you said his value yet.
No. So come on, man.
Why can't he tell his value?
Yeah, so sell yourself.
I mean, I don't like to toot my own horn, but
Seriously, the slip-ons don't count.
I mean,
Nah, he's very talented in videography, photography, editing.
That's
Very
right,
good. He
editing,
wouldn't
yeah.
be
Editing.
here if it wasn't for
Yeah.
him.
Well,
He
then
does,
there you go. He's
yeah.
the back of the camera. You can be in the camera
Literally.
crew. Those two can get.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
We get
We'll
it
just
right.
we'll give you credits at the end.
Yeah.
I'll
DJ
happily take that.
DJ VAT.
Value
Added
tax.
tax.
Value added tax.
Value
Yeah,
added
yeah,
tax.
yeah.
That is me.
That is me. That's serious.
Before you go, I just wanted to ask. Obviously, you've been on you've done a few podcasts here. You've got your own podcast, by the way. I know you had Big Nasty, you had Lowski, you had different artists on. How do you find podcasting? Do you find it a struggle?
I think it's always about what the guest gives. That's it. And I think, like life, you could go into the podcast, and I'm always surprised what you come out with. You'll have this idea of who you're meeting, and I'm always surprised who you're going to meet, and all of a sudden you're, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, this
Yeah.
guy's amazing. And
Yeah.
then there's a nugget that you took away that you thought I didn't realize, or that's my favorite. It's the ones where it's a canned answer. It's everything's, I hate to say it, everything's God. It's all because of God. There's no true
Essence.
essence.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
not
yeah.
something real behind it. Those are the ones that suck. They,
Like, what's
they
the
do.
story? You know what I mean? What is the story? Yeah.
Which of your guests surprised you the most? In a good way, I mean.
Always Nipsey. Always Nipsey because I'm so used to famous people showing up with lots of people. He showed up with nobody. He showed up on his own. We talked for hours. Just truly, I asked him some things, and he was just brutally honest.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love that side. But that was probably one of my favorites. And it's also, you know, on a different side, I love the ones where I interviewed people like Post Malone or G Herbo or A Boogie before they got big.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Post had one. He had White Iverson as the only song he had.
Yeah,
You know,
it was
I
big.
just think it's neat to. Then it's. I remember A Boogie. We were in Houston doing the interview, and I said, "So how big's the arena that you're going to play in?" He's like, "It's like 2,000 people." I said, "Do you think you're going to fill it up?" He's like, "I just called downstairs. I didn't think anybody was going to show, and supposedly it's full." And he's just shocked.
Yeah.
Just shocked. So like getting that real, authentic.
And I feel like he's just done the O2 Arena, the other day? 20,000 the other day.
Yeah,
Crazy.
But back then, like it's real. Wow. It's so, I don't know. The beauty of podcast, you don't know what you're gonna get. So you gotta try.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
gotta see what happens.
No, facts. We've been growing. We've grown a lot. Again, through meeting people like yourself and Set, we've been educated so much. That's why I always say to the guys, it's like we're in school. Yeah. Every day we're learning new things. Every day is a school day. Yeah. We get someone come on and they just change our thought process completely. And you're like, whoa, I never blow our mind out. But any new business on the horizon, anything that our audience people need to look out for?
The biggest, no new brands. It's the focus on the existing brands. The thing I'm most excited about, and it has to do with Africa, is it's my love of music.
Yes.
Me talking to so many African artists, Yemi Alade, Diamond, Stoneboy, Nasty C, so many different artists. We're producing our own album.
Ooh,
so
nice.
It's our own album, probably 12 different countries, maybe 30 different artists.
That's lit.
We're funding the whole thing. We're not making any money on this. We're going to put it out ourselves. It's to be able to support the artists, there's some of them are big names, some of them are up and coming, so we can get behind. We're going to shoot videos in probably 10 different videos in 8 or 9 countries. Rick Ross is on every song.
Wow.
And he's committed to this because he wants to promote Africa, the artists. So I'm super excited about this.
This is dope. This is
and
exciting.
the songs are, honestly, all the songs are fly. All the songs
Oh,
are
they're all done.
I would say we have too many. We probably have 18 songs right now.
Wow. It's just like cutting them down to the
deciding which ones, or maybe we do different part 1, part 2.
A and B.
Yeah, but they're great, and people who listen to them loves them. They're all different. Ross sounds amazing.
Wow.
And the goal was don't sound like Ross. No, really, that's not the goal.
Really?
It's about Africa.
Blend.
Yes, and Ross will adapt, and we want your sound. Don't try to act like Ross. This isn't Ross.
Just be you.
Yeah.
And the beauty of Ross is this is not about Ross. This is about Ross giving noise to this, so it promots those artists.
Wow.
So that's something excited about.
You. Sorry, but where do you get this from? Why are you so nice? I have to wonder, like, what that must come from your upbringing. Like, what makes you want to help all these people?
It's the right thing to do. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's life is easy when
guys,
bless you, man.
please come on.
Honestly, I'm just so captivated about how
Facts.
caring you are and giving.
it's. I don't. Again, my mom gave me a pillow she took from a boat she was on, and the pillow says, "When the mood moves you, move with it."
Yeah.
That's what life should be about.
That is my new
Amen.
It's a mouthful.
And you know what? Our mood has moved us to give you this gift here.
Oh no!
Yes.
Yes.
Can I open it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, go ahead. I
What's
mean,
that?
So this is a premium. You can tell you.
This is Uganda
We just got
Waraji.
back from Uganda on Monday.
Exclusive.
And it's our national drink, and this is a new flavor they brought out, a limited edition, and I thought it'll be a nice present for you from the podcast. Yes.
Success. You don't stop.
So some
Celebration
chocolate
of all your
to celebrate
success.
all your success.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
eat this too. There's nothing like chocolate and alcohol.
Just a thank you card.
And then a thank you card.
About us.
And for taking your time.
Yeah.
Guys, really, it's like with the three of you, you all bring something different to the table and you make it easy for someone like me. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, thank you for coming on. But before you go, I do want to ask very quickly. You know all these artists. So to your kids, you must be like the coolest dad ever.
Yeah.
Do you ever pull in any favors, like come and perform at my son's birthday,
Or say happy birthday, FaceTime, you know what I mean?
Or you one of those ones like I don't want to ask.
That's a good question.
It's a safe space.
I will. It's about the people I know best.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
natural
Exchange.
Yeah.
Like,
So my son Bo loves going to Rick Ross's house because he's got hundreds of cars and a giant
that house
train.
is crazy.
That is like a dream. To go
The house
to.
is crazy, right?
Correct. Rick calls my oldest daughter, what do you call her? Oh, baby gangsta.
Baby gangster.
Baby gangster.
I call him. My favorite was Neo actually performed at my wife's birthday.
No way.
But I give Neo, I love Neo to death. I give him credit, man, because it's really hard, if you just think about this from music, to find somebody who's got 8 to 10 great songs.
Yeah.
Like songs you've heard before.
Timeless.
And you're like, I know that song. I'm telling you, Neo's got great songs.
Yeah, no, he's a
It's
maker.
just, I mean,
Generational
it's
talent.
amazing.
And he's written great songs as well.
Oh my
Yeah, and it's
gosh.
written for people. Yeah, that's right.
But he's got 8 to 10 just great ones. So love Neo. Love Neo.
Okay.
Brilliant.
And could you just give our viewers that are thinking of starting a business in 2024 one piece of advice? Take away.
It's never one. Trust your gut.
Yeah.
If anybody's gonna fuck it up, make it you. Sometimes not having a plan is a good plan. Don't follow the trend. Set your own. Don't give anything away. Make them pay for it.
Facts. We're taking that one. We're taking that one.
For it. Lean into things you like, and don't try to be like the big guys because you're never going to be them, and you don't want to be them.
I asked for one, and look how many he gave you. So you are lucky, guys.
Yeah.
No,
Thank
and
you.
Those are all on it. Those are things I live and breathe every day, and no one ever follows up. No one does. So if you're waiting for someone else to do something for you, you're always going to be waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be emailing you every day.
Facts.
You have to. You have to. You have to. 100%.
Now, Brett, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
man.
thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Loved
you.
it.
Loved
Loved it.
having you on. Guys, please make sure you subscribe, share, comment. Let us know if you like the episode. Go and check out some of Brett's content. He's a podcaster as well, self-made
Listen,
podcast.
trust me. Is it natural?
Yeah, you can see. Hopefully one day we get to feature on. You know,
Exactly.
There you go. I
Right.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
A little plug there. You know, we never know. One day we could be on there since we are self-made. We have no investors.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
No,
love
no
it.
investment.
But yeah, till next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the In My Opinion podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, peace.